What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the JR Wisdom channel. I'd like to thank all of you guys for tuning back in, new and old subscribers. If you're just now clicking on my channel, make sure you please hit the subscribe button along with the bell. That way you receive all of the notifications for all of my future content that comes out. And make sure y'all check all my old content out too. You might see something you like. So, without further ado, the reason why I'm talking about this topic, as you see, you guys clicked on it, so you must have been interested in it. It's life insurance. I'm not an insurance salesman by any means. I'm not any kind of salesman because that's just not me. I'm not good at selling things. So I'm talking about life insurance because I just sit back and I think about, wealth building a lot. And for something as morbid as death, you think, well, why does wealth have to come from death? And this is one of those things where, a lot of times we have to ask ourselves, why wouldn't you want your family in a better position after you leave here? That's pretty much the goal of life for those of you who want a legacy or care about your family. You want to leave something behind for them, whether it be a business, some sort of property, funds, whatever. And this being, sorry to call it that, one of those equalizers, for everyone to have the opportunity to have wealth. And the thing about it is, I don't want to make it seem so morbid and horrible, but the fact of the matter is, none of you that's watching this is going to make it out of here alive. When I say this earth, none of you are going to live forever. You're eventually going to kick the bucket just like me. Could be today, could be tomorrow, could be next week. There's plenty of people that may be leaving for work tomorrow and think that they're coming home. This is just the nature of the human condition and your mortality. None of you guys are immortal, so that's why let's just get that out the way first before you thinking like, oh, he's talking about death. And for those of you who believe that, why should someone else basically prosper or reap the benefits of me dying? Why not? You're not going to be here. Who cares anyway? So, in my opinion, I don't want to use the word savvy, but it is it's an investment at the end of the day, and it's a very inexpensive investment. It doesn't cost much for those of you. Some of you watching right now may have never had life insurance and probably have no intention of getting life insurance, and your parents or relatives may not have ever had it, and you can see this a lot of times when funerals come about and all this other stuff, but we'll get into that later. So, like I said, death is inevitable. It's bound to happen. That's what's guaranteed. That and taxes. If you got a job, if not, you're still going to pay sales tax. So that's another thing. It's life's finest common denominator. It basically, everyone is an even playing field when it comes to this. Everyone has access to purchasing life insurance, for the most part. But like anything else, this life insurance, and you guys growing up may have people knocking on your door, someone trying to sell you life insurance, and you're like, oh, I don't need it, But it's a big business, just like anything else, as far as death goes. When we talk about funeral homes, mortuary affairs, hospitals, undertakers, and those who are selling it, they're selling it for a reason, because you're going to die, like I said. And this goes back probably, way back to Roman times of people being insured, and things like that. But we take it back to the 18th century in the United States, where, the life insurance becoming a big thing. And people obviously investing in this because they know, as far as someone having intelligence to set themselves up by their dependents benefiting from their death. So, life insurance, for the most part, for those of you who are familiar with it, regardless of the amount, your premium, or basically what you're going to be paying monthly, is very, in my opinion, minuscule. Especially if you have a job and your job is subsidizing this life insurance. Even without it, get a decent life insurance, policy. You're paying, even $500,000 or whatever. You're paying, less than $50, and that's for you and your family sometimes. You know what I mean? Depending on what you got. I've always had, since I've been, able to work, I've always had $500,000 in life insurance because I've always had that mind frame that I could kick the bucket any day. I know it's not guaranteed, and I don't talk about becoming old, even though I joke a lot with you guys about me dying an old, lonely man and shit like that. But I know for a fact that I could die any day, and I want to have something for my children, and I have that mindset of trying to educate them on wealth and this being part of it, for wealth. So another thing, people, for anyone who says they can't afford it, but they spend money on their vices, beer, weed. A lot of you out there probably smoking like $50 to $100 worth of weed a day, and have no problem doing that, buying sneakers and all this other stuff. And here's the thing: if you're driving a vehicle, you're paying for car insurance. Thing about car insurance, other than if you're involved in fraud, you're never really with car insurance, you're never really receiving that return on investment. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's kind of a weird term to use for your life, but like I said, with fraud, if for these guys who participate in that, they go and torch, arson or whatever, burn up a car just to get the insurance money. They recoup that through, and I guess the return on investment by paying whatever, $50, $60, $100, $200 a month in car insurance. But when we actually look at life insurance, and you're paying, this amount or this monthly payment on your premium, you're actually, getting this amount, and I guess depending on who you are, it's subjective, this large amount, so to speak. But I'm pretty sure even if you are a millionaire, billionaire, $500,000, or $250,000 or whatever, $1 million life insurance policy, it's still a lot of money. And depending on your family size or whatever, that can do a lot for a family as far as wealth building, investing that money into different things. For those who may not even have that type of money on an annual basis as far as the household income. So this is just something to think about. Many people, they think that they'll live forever, and don't you ever talk about putting life insurance on me. You want me to die or something? As I keep saying, and I'm not going to keep beating a dead horse, but it's going to happen. And many people just don't think about it. And they'll be like, when I die, whatever's going to happen is going to happen. But they end up leaving their family with this burden of putting them in the ground, And for those of you who like to have the Bishop Eddie Long style funerals, with these extravagant funerals, nice casket, be casket sharp and all that, y'all gonna be spending a lot of money on this. You know what I mean? Just for that. And if your family, a lot of times, is gonna be coming out of the pocket to do that. Well, we see a lot, and I'm just referring, within the black community right now, the urban community, if you so to speak. You got a lot of ballers, drug dealers, rappers, entertainers. But when they, end up dying or have an untimely demise or end up getting killed, you look for the community to fund, or fans to fund, this person's funeral, or the church to consolidate the money or take offerings and stuff like that to pay for this person's funeral, who might not have even gone to church, and any chance they had, they would show off on social media, on the block, with their material possessions, but had no type of life insurance policy in place or nothing for their kids, especially if they have multiple baby mamas and all this other stuff that we're getting into as far as that. Showing off, like I said, bragging, having nice cars, living a reckless life, all together, whether you're a gangster, having unprotected sex, multiple kids, all of this, but no insurance. The thought of tomorrow is not really given in what's being left behind for the kids. The education is the biggest thing that, I really want to talk about with this as well, is educating people as far as a family unit on, respecting money and the responsibility of having the money. When we get into where we're trying to put our loved ones in the ground via GoFundMe, like I said, donations and collections, that's just wrong. That's just ill preparation and just being reckless, in that aspect. It's not the church. It's not the church's responsibility to pay for your funeral. It's your responsibility. You should be prepared. So when being prepared with this life insurance, it's best a lot of times as the parents and the elders, you should be educating your children and who you're leaving, whether you have a will in place, which you should already have, on the importance of money, managing money, because a lot of people think, okay, well, if I come across a $500,000 $1 million inheritance, I'm just going to blow it on some BS, and that might be true if you haven't educated your children and your family on how to manage funds, or having a plan in place, or having someone responsible as the heir to this or the beneficiary. A lot of stuff can be done with this. You can start a business with this money, college. It evens the playing field. So when we talk about racism in America, all of that stuff goes out the window because everyone has access to this. As far as wealth goes and it being a wealth building tool, everyone has access to this. Please believe all other races in America, races, RACES, have access and have the knowledge and the common sense to utilize this. So why isn't everyone using this, to put yourself in a better position at the end of the day? You shouldn't wait. Start a policy. If you don't have insurance right now, you need to start a policy for yourself and your children, because no man knoweth the hour. You know what I mean? You have no clue, and it'll place your family in a better position. Just because, and you shouldn't be selfish and be like, well, I don't get to reap the benefits of that. Of course, but your worries are over in this world, so that's one less thing that you really have to worry about. Take advantage of it. Education, this whole thing, this I wouldn't say evens the playing field, but it puts the family in the opportunity, giving them the opportunity, and I know a lot of families may end up blowing the money anyway on material stuff, which is crazy, but it puts you in that position where you can't say my father never left me anything, my mother never left me anything, which will be a lie. You know what I'm saying? You were left with an inheritance, but you just squandered it for whatever reason. There's no excuse. Everyone dies. Everyone has access to this. So I just basically wanted to touch on that. By all means, make sure you insure yourself and your family members to make sure everyone's taken care of. And if you're the sole provider, or someone's unable to work, you leave them with something that they're able to take care of. So this is the mind frame we need to have as far as it being, leaving a legacy, leaving an inheritance behind so that your family can be taken care of. That's all I have. I appreciate you guys for tuning in. If this video is of benefit to someone, please feel free to share it. Like, subscribe, hit the bell. Make sure you add me on social media. The link is in the description. All the links are in the description. If you haven't purchased any of my books on Amazon, what are you waiting for? Go ahead and pick up your copy as well. With that being said, feel free to email me if you have any questions. Remember, anything lost can be found again except for time wasted. And I will see you guys on the next video. I'm out of here. Peace.